There has been a murder on 1 Star Wharf Street. A gun to the back of the head. There is only one investigator that can solve this. Dobuya. Hello, and welcome back to Dobuya Gaming. Today we're playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic again, and we're gonna see if we can try and solve the murder just ahead of us. Apprentice, your arrival here is well timed. What do you want? I am Luke, a Jedi from the Enclave. I was sent by the Jedi Council to investigate a killing that took place here a few hours ago. Communication does not pose a problem, as both suspects and I speak basic and Huttese. I was going to handle this case myself, but now that you are here, this could be an excellent opportunity for you to just demonstrate how well you have been learning your lessons at the Academy. Though you're not ready to be a full Jedi, perhaps you could assist me in sorting the truth from the lies. What do you want me to do? Listen to the stories given by the two suspects. I have brought an information retrieval droid with access to the archives both of the Jedi Enclave and the planetary capital. I will use my wisdom and experience to offer you some guidance, but I will not solve the case for you. There is little benefit if you do not solve the problem yourself. Consider each man's account and check the facts with the information droid. Once you have gathered all the evidence that you think you need, run through the possible scenario with me. If you are unable to come to a satisfactory resolution, then I will take these men to the Enclave and deal with this myself. According to the accounts of the participants, these 3 men were out here at the field together earlier, before the clouds broke. I find this very odd, for most people would seek shelters indoors when the sky is filled with storm clouds, as it was earlier today. But it is not the most puzzling aspect of the puzzle. The dead man, Calder Nedic, was shot in the back with a blaster rifle. A rifle was found lying near his body with bloodstains on it. I have been sent back to the Enclave for something. Analysis. 2 other men were found on the scene when I arrived. One was Handong Galt. He was unarmed. The other was Rickard Lossif, who was carrying a hunting laser. Both men say they did not do anything. They came across the body, but both accused the other. Obviously, there is more to this than we have been told. Is there anything else I should know? One last thing. When I arrived, Handon was holding the side of, and Rickard was favouring one of his legs. You would do well to remember this through the case. If there's anything else I need, I will remain here while I question the other witnesses. Hey, there's some Cathhounds over there we can go kill. We might focus on this first. I really want to go kill them though. We got our suspects, we got Rickard and Handon, and we got that information droid we can talk to as well. If you struggle with this, you can probably watch this video and hopefully I get the best outcome. Try and write things down, like the 2 bits of information I already know. There was, sky was cloudy, guy's holding the side of his body, the other guy's limping, there's a blaster and he was shot in the back. The blaster's on the floor, and I'm gonna get some paper so that I can write these down and figure it out myself. I mean, you could do this all with a notepad. So now we're gonna put on our investigation goggles. Got my investigation glasses ready to go. Oh shit, I can't see anything with these on. Turn my head to the side. Yeah. That's what happens when you have polarized lenses. Got my investigation glasses on. Let's solve this problem. Let's start with Rickard.
Another Jedi, huh? Helping that Twi'lek investigate, no doubt. He seems stumped. I'm Rickard Lusov. Maybe you can figure this out and let me get out of here.
Tell me what happened.
Well, I was out hunting Iriaz when I spotted one over here by the bridge. I pull out my rifle and aim at it. I couldn't see it that well, mind you, because the damn sun was in my eyes. So I shoot it and it drops. I walk over here and find Handon standing over Calder's body. So why don't you get this whole farce over with and send that whiner Handon to the prison he belongs in? So
there was the sun in his eyes, but it was a cloudy day. How does that happen? So let's go talk to the other guy. Maybe he can provide some more information.
Ah, greetings. You must be assisting Master Baluk in his investigation. I'm Handon Gould. Perhaps you've heard of me?
Oh yes, of course, Mr. Gould.
Really? Well, then I assure you, on my reputation, I had nothing to do with the killing.
Yes.
I will help you with the case as best I can, though. You see, I was out here running earlier today. Yes, running. I do that a lot. Can't stand speeders, never use them. Keeps me in shape, too, you know. Anyway, I was out running on the other side of that bridge there, and all of a sudden I heard a shot coming from over here. I ran over and found this man Calder lying on the ground, dead.
Go on.
And I saw Rickard come skulking out of the shadows of the rocks south of the river. I knew something was wrong. I hit my emergency button and called the Enclave right away. Well, there. That's my story. Now, please hurry this up and arrest Rickard so I can get on with my day.
Nothing seems too fishy in what he said just then. You saw him from the south. That doesn't really mean much to us. Let's just go talk to the droid.
Greetings, apprentice. You must be the one Master Baluk has enlisted to help him with this problem. I am an information retrieval droid. I can assist you by accessing the records of both the Jedi Enclave and the central government facilities here on Dantooine. If you have any need of my services, please do not hesitate to talk to me. I have already retrieved some information from the archives on Calder, Rickard Lusov, and Handon Gould. I have also had time to examine the body of Mr. Netic. Is there any information you require?
What did you find out about the body?
My preliminary analysis of the body indicates that he was killed approximately 3 hours ago by a single energy blast to the torso. Is there any other information you need?
Just tell me about these planes.
These plains are rife with wild animals, not all of them benign. The Irians are mostly docile, but can easily be provoked to violence. Calf hounds, on the other hand, are much more deadly. There have been over 35 catalogued attacks on settlers by calf hounds in the last 2 weeks. A general advisory was given out 3 days ago to carry a weapon at all times when on the plains. Small farms and holdings dot the plains and can provide safe refuge for those in need. Is there any other information you need?
I have more questions later. I think there's a body we can look at too. Oh, here it is. The body is apparently shot from behind. I think I'm ready to make or talk to Baluk now. Let's see what he has to say. I want to discuss the murder. Very well, we should start at the beginning. If you find the truth behind each of the pieces of the puzzle, no doubt resolve the case. Handon's there, he was nearby and heard a shot and ran over. Only to find Calder already dead. He said that Rickard came out of the shadow and the rocks behind and blaster in his hands. Rickard said he was hunting Irizard. Yep. It is possible that Rickard may have shot Calder accidentally. Handon may found the body, but his unlikely explanation is more likely that at least one of them is lying. Obviously one of these men is telling us something. Rickard is lying initially, I think. Why do you believe that? It was cloudy, there was no sun glare. Exactly. He was being rude to me. No, the cloudy. Very well done, it is cloudy this morning. If it happened to Rickard, like Rickard said, the sun would not have been visible at the time of the killing. You seem to have caught Rickard in a bit of a lie. It seems I was correct in assuming you could help with this case. The lie doesn't prove that Rickard is guilty, but I think we've taken the first step to unraveling this mystery. We should proceed to the next point. We need to find a motive of the killing. Maybe you should talk to the men about the relationship with the victim. Is there anything else you need? I'll remain here while you question the witnesses. Cool. Step 2. Let's talk to Rickard first again. See if he helps.
So, what do you want to...
Luke said you were limping.
Kind of sprained my ankle running through the bush before I found the body, but it's nothing that serious.
So he sprained his ankle. So why was he running? Why would someone want to kill him?
You Jedi are so predictable, always seeing some greater purpose behind everything, when the simple answer is usually the right one. Can't you see that it must have been Handon? I found him standing over the damned body. I don't know why this is causing you so much trouble. You almost seem as lost as this Baluk guy.
Okay, so he seemed to just deflect that answer.
What do you want to know?
Did you know the victim?
Yeah, I knew him. Hell, we've known each other for a good long time. Doesn't mean I really have to have liked the slime ball. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on him, especially now that he's dead. We actually got along pretty well most of the time. We just had our differences. We were actually business partners.
So business
We were
partners.
involved in some orbit-to-ground transport operations for Aerotech. Can I leave now? I should probably be the one to give the news to his wife.
Nothing fishy about that, but I guess if you... Maybe you wanted the full business? Let's talk to
How can I be
Handon.
of further assistance?
Holding your side, are you injured?
Injured? No, of course not. Why would I have been? Fit as a bantha. I run. I don't know if I mentioned that.
So he's lying about his injury, but people saw him injured. Why would someone want to kill him?
Well, you see, Calder was involved in some pretty sordid business from time to time. More often than not, I've heard. Disreputable business practices, even more disreputable clients. I've even heard he had dealings with a hut. A hut here on Dantooine. Now, I bet you're wondering if I had any reasons to kill the man, but I tell you, I hardly knew him. I saw him once or twice, yes, and I've heard some pretty unkind things about him, but certainly nothing that would make me want to kill him.
Strange. He's basically saying he doesn't know much about the man, but he knew he did some bad things, so I'm sensing some lies from him too. No one says he killed him yet.
I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit agitated.
Did you know the victim?
I knew him a little bit, but I was not any sort of great friend to him or anything. I never really associated with him that much. In truth, I didn't really want to. He had a reputation. Very inconsiderate of family, I heard. But merely having heard unkind things about someone wouldn't make me want to kill him.
That's all for now. Okay, ask the droid again. What have you got,
Is there any
droid?
other information?
What can you tell me about Calder and Handon?
The Southwood Speeder rental business has records that over the past 7 weeks, a speeder had been rented by Mr. Nettic and Mr. Gould. Is there any other information you need?
But he hates speeders. Why would he hate speeders? And he would... So he's lying about speeders. What can you tell me about Calder and Rickard?
According to the municipal authorities near the Garen spaceport, there had been news of violent drunken activity in a cantina attached to the port. Apparently, a Mr. R. Lusoff was making accusations at a Mr. C. Nettic about cheating him in a business deal. Jedi Tuka was dispatched to the scene and restored order. Is there any other information?
Okay, so they've had a tussle.
How can I be...
We can accuse him for the speeder shit. You knew Calder better than you admit. You rented a speeder with him.
But I realize this must seem like a motive to you, but I assure you it isn't. I dislike Calder, true. I would punch his face in given the opportunity, but I would not kill him.
I want the truth, now!
My wife was cheating on me with him. I slept in my own bed while I was in the next room. But, as much as I may hate him for that, I could not kill him. It may have been my own fault for driving my wife away. I must try not to take the law into my own hands. I was just out running, trying to clear my head for the divorce proceedings, not stalking him to kill him. Running is not a crime.
Okay, that's all for now. Let's go back to the other dude. You thought Calder was cheating you.
Now, I don't love Calder, but we go back a long way. We run a suborbital shipping and transport company out of Garang Spaceport. We've been partners in that business for well over 20 years, and we've been doing just fine the way we are.
You can deny it, but there was blood between you.
Right.
Oh boy. Okay, let's talk to Baluk again and see if we can solve the case. Let's go with Handon is lying. He knew his wife was cheating on him. That seems like a decent motive. You might want to see what information the witnesses and the information droid can provide you about the blaster found in the body. If there's anything else you need, I'll remain here while you question the witnesses. So I think we're moving forward on the case. Okay, let's talk to the droid first about the murder weapon.
Is there any other information?
Tell me about the weapon found at the
We
scene.
cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample, other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any other information?
So it's a blaster. That's it. Let's talk to Rickard, see what he has to say about the blaster, because he was the one out hunting.
So,
What about the weapon found by the body?
that blaster? Never seen it before. Calder himself had a preference for Ichani weaponry. He had this one really nice light blaster rifle that he always used. Always wished I could get myself a rifle like the one he had.
Ichanis make delicate weapons with too little firepower. Lightweight stuff, if you ask me.
That blaster ain't it, though. Calder only had the one rifle, too, so he either must have borrowed that, or it's someone else's.
And that's true. He doesn't really prove that he's guilty at all, but he does say that it must be someone else's. But he could have placed the weapon there.
Right.
Nothing more. Okay, let's go to Handon.
How can I be of further assistance?
What do you know about the weapon found by the body?
That blaster was stolen from my house last week. I never knew what happened to it. I hardly have enough money to afford a single blaster, let alone another. I can't tell you how important it is to have a weapon on hand with all these ravenous cath hounds around. Even an Irias can take a man down if it gets in the mood. Every settler has a weapon. It's our most prized possession. I would most appreciate it if I could have that back after you determine that Rickard is the killer. How can I be of further assistance?
Okay, so that's his blaster. Doesn't mean it was him, though. Just...
Of course.
Let's talk to the droid again.
Is there any...
Is there a report of Handon's blaster being stolen?
I am sorry, but I seem to be failing you. I have searched and searched, but I cannot seem to come up with anything at all. I thought to find the record of the missing weapon report Mr. Gould filed with the authorities, but there does not seem to be one. Is there any other information you need?
Okay, that helps. Let's discuss with Baluk again about the blaster, because we know Handon is lying about not having the blaster. I'd like to discuss the murder. The blaster is Handon's, but he lied about it being stolen. We have caught Handon in a lie. Interesting, but I think we need one final piece of the puzzle. There is a blood sample on that weapon that has been sent back for analysis just before you arrived. Perhaps you could inquire with the information droid about it. Is there anything else you need? I'll remain here while you question the witnesses. Cool, let's talk to the droid first again and determine whose blaster it is.
Is there any other...
Oh, whose blood it is. Okay, tell me about the blood sample.
I have just received back an analysis of a sample of the blood found on the weapon. It had been sent back to the enclave just before you arrived. The blood on the weapon is definitely not Calder's. Unfortunately, there was a bacterial contaminant in the sample that had been taken back to the laboratory, and it had become degraded. We cannot get any more specific analysis from that sample, other than the fact it did not belong to Calder. Is there any other information you need?
So it's not Calder's blood. One has a injury on the side and one is limping. But a sprained ankle shouldn't make you bleed unless you've busted a bone. More questions later, boy. Okay, maybe we can talk to Baluk and discuss more about the blaster. I mean, the blood. Let's discuss the murder. Blood on the weapon. It didn't belong to the victim. That is surprising, so the blood must belong to one of the suspects, but which one? My gut says Handon's blood, because he's lying so much about him being fit as a bantha or something like that. Why do you believe that? He's clutching his side. He's moving oddly since I arrived. Perhaps I should examine him a little more closely.
Hey, what are you doing?
This is blood. Handon appears to have suffered some sort of blast wound to his side. I would seem there is a logical scenario. Handon killed Calder for having an affair with his wife. Rickard has, out hunting, accidentally shot Handon after he killed Calder. No, they are both guilty. A bold conclusion. One most people will not arrive at. But we are not like most people. We are Jedi. Still, I would like to know how you came to this conclusion. We know Calder was having an affair with Handon's wife. But what is the possible motive could Rickard have for wanting to kill Calder dead? Rickard thought Calder was cheating him in business? Let's go with that. Yes, well done. Both men had a reason to want Calder dead. This is my theory of the morning events. Both men knew Calder would be out here this morning and plotted to kill him. Handon found him first, shot him. Because of the affair Calder was having with his wife, shortly after Rickard arrived at the scene. From the distance he saw Handon and thought it was Calder, so he shot in retaliation for the credits Calder had cheated him in business. Handon would have dropped his blaster, the one we found on the scene covered in blood. He probably thought Rickard was going to kill him, so he called us, hoping to convince us it was Rickard.
Damn both of you.
That is enough. Culpability of both of you in the murder and attempted murder of Calder Nedic is evident. Additionally, Rickard Losov can be charged with aggravated assault and attempted murder of Handon Gold. I place you both under arrest of the Jedi Order and will escort you to the holding cell facilities in the Jedi Enclave. You have done well here. It is obvious you have been studying your lessons carefully. I'll be sure to inform the Jedi Council of your performance in this little test.
Did good. You might just make a proper Jedi yet. Who knows?
Good day, and may the Force be with you. No light side points, no light side points, no light side points. No light side points. This is definitely one of the toughest side quests in the game. Luckily, you've kind of figured it all out. You just gotta be patient with it. That's all for this episode today, folks. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next week.